Hello everybody, this is MechlordGames and welcome to my channel. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a few days. I have just been figuring some things out and preparing for the next ban list, which is actually the topic of this video. So every few months there is a new ban list that drops, and trying to figure out what the meta is going to be is kind of hard, but kind of easy when you look at what the ban list is. Things that are able to be played due to changes in the ban list or so on. Um, Looking at the ban list, noticing that Dark Hole went to 2 really made me think of updating and reformatting the Yang Zing deck that I have been playing competitively, and which I have, and it's even more broken now that Yang Zing can now have 2 Dark Holes, which will trigger off their effects as well. So that is a good positive advantage for this deck. Dark Strike Fighter's coming back. I want to try Dark Strike Fighter, see how it works in the deck. Don't feel like it's going to be really good because it tributes, not destroys. So that might be a unfortunate loss in the deck. But, yeah, doesn't really seem to be too bad of a card right now. Just figured I'd put it in, try it out. Made it a few times. Won with it. Not bad. Not bad at all. But the topic really is, how are you going to prepare for the ban list, and what happened with the ban list? So, to find out, we need to actually pull up the ban list, which is here. So, Super Poly was limited, now it's banned. What decks worked well with Super Poly? Shadows. Shadows can no longer Super Poly into their fusion monster cards. So they're going to have a harder time against light decks and dark decks due to the fact that one of their fusion cards has been restricted, but I mean it was only at 1. It doesn't really weaken Shadows all that much. I played Shadows without it. It doesn't really seem to be much of a problem in that. But Heroes did take a significant hit due to the fact that, well, a lot of their fusion summon power is gone. So the new hero decks that are coming out with Blaze Man and everything, that's still OCG but will be TCG in coming February, I think. Those won't be as good in the new format due to the fact that their super polymerization is no longer a thing. But the thing here is that super poly can be used in anything that runs fusion cards, and now that's kind of gone away a little bit. That fusion power, quick power. I mean, you couldn't do anything with it really, and now it's just kind of like, yeah, well, we're gone. So that's not really too much of an option anymore. Let's take a look here. Artifact Morotalk. Now, Morotalk was actually one of my favorite cards because on DN you can go to like Artifact. You can spell it right. Morotalk was at 3. Play it with Sanctum or Ignition, and you could summon things, you could do things, you could play things very, very evilly, and Morotalk could be used in anything, and that's how Hat was created. Well, now that is... Nope, that's definitely not what I wanted to show you. With Artifact Morotalk being gone, it's kind of a hit to a lot of rogue decks who played this, and even more so, it does hurt Shadows, because I know that some people are playing Shadow artifacts. So that was a hit to them on their part. Dark Strike Fighter was forbidden, that already came back. Frog OTK probably could come back. So many decks that can just spam monsters. If you can make Dark Strike Fighter and just spam summon everything, you can just go derpy derp. And that could be a significant problem. Snatch Steal. Well, let's see what Snatch Steal does. Okay, equip to a monster your opponent currently controls. Take control of it. And your opponent gains 1,000 life points. That's pretty balanced. Considering you can take any monster and use it to your advantage, whether it's for a fusion summon, synchro summon, XC summon. Snatch Steal is a great main deck card. Very feasible card that can be used nowadays with the new meta and can be used to completely change the tides of duels, or it could be MST'd and it won't succeed in the card. But it does. This card does target because this is the old stated effect, but it does target. So things that can't be targeted, Snatch Steal, doesn't work on. But that's a pretty good card, and I don't really care too much about that. Be prepared to run more back row, though, for those players who are playing Snatch Steal, which I'm sure most of them are going to be playing it in replacement for Super Poly for those people who do. Honest to 2. Well, let's see. Light Sworns could be a thing with Honest back. Oh. Agent, they're light. They could be a thing with it. They could actually be good again. Melodious could be good. Bugens are going to once again be really good due to their 5 Honest that they'll have now. Constellar, Satellar, they're gonna be around more often now. I believe. No, Cleefort is Earth. Thank God, because I was gonna say if Cleefort was light, that would be a little bit broken. Seeing Cleefort with that, so that would be a little bit broken. But seeing those older decks could bring in use for things for like Light Imprisoning Mirror. Might gonna need this now. This is very useful against your Satellar Knight matchups. Very, very, very good card against Satellar Knight. Very good against Light Sworns. Very good against Bugens. Pretty much just does a lot of good. This doesn't really do too much good against Bugen. I mean, it does stop Yamato from searching, but stopping their effects in graveyard, it doesn't really do that. So that is the downside to Light Imprisoning Mirror. But there are a lot of other light decks that could use Honest, so that is pretty interesting. Goya Guardian back to 2. Going to be seeing possibly plants coming back to being a thing. Dark Hole at 2. Like I said, that's a good thing. I don't really care about that. Gets rid of more monsters. Gale the Whirlwind, Black Wings are going to be back in their prime. Well, Black Wings are going to be back in their prime due to the fact that they'll be getting their new support soon, hopefully in February as well. So they'll be getting their new spam summon cards, which will just make them even more broken. So all the more reason to play Vanity and things that stop dark monster effects that activate in hand, which Mind Drain I think it is. But they'll have their Kalutes and everything. They'll be at 3, Gale at 3. Prepare for Black Wings to be tier 1 again. Mermail Abyssgoon, yeah, whatever. Mermail's gonna be back to full strength. They didn't really change. Even with Gundi gone. Reborn Tengu. Reborn Tengu is very good in Tengu Synchro Plants. Very good in any deck that could play Reborn Tengu. Very good for rogue decks, stun decks. Reborn Tengu was very good with doing so. We'll be seeing a lot more TG stun decks running around with Reborn Tengu, maybe even Photon Stun. If anybody wants to revive those guys, that would be pretty good to see happen. Reasoning. Let's see what Reasoning does. Why was this limited in the first place? It excavates cards. So again, something for Light Sworns, something for Sylvans, something for decks that work out of the graveyard. Reasoning, good card for Burning Abyss, even. So it could be a very good, useful card for a lot of decks. And just bringing it back to 3 will give a lot of decks that work out of the graveyard much more advantage. Bugens, it'll make them more prevalent, more good. It'll just make a lot of things better. And Transmigration Prophecy. Transmigration Prophecy is a really, really, really good card. Bringing that back to 3 would actually be a pretty good idea. I mean, target 2 cards in the graveyard, shuffle those into the decks. Really good counter to Burning Abyss. Bring that back up to 3. Good counter for a lot of decks, actually. and it also can recycle your deck as well. For Transmigration Prophecy, really great card. Love the fact that they're bringing it back to 3, and I feel like that this card could be very diverse in a lot of decks, and hell, I might even main deck this in Yang Zings, or even just side deck this, for the matter. Also, though, with Spirit Beast being OCG right now, and Necros being OCG, but soon coming to TCG as well, you're going to need to prepare for that, so I've already prepared up for, like, non-fusion area, just against those Shadow decks, hero decks that are going to be new as well. Just a lot of decks really like to fusion summon in non-fusion area. Just says nope, you cannot do that. Most decks, most decks search these days, so mistake. One thing that kills this deck is Banishment, Imperial Iron Wall. This just does wonders against things like Macro and Defissure. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror just right now, Vanity's Emptiness, the usual side deck. But when preparing for, when going into a new format, you really got to look at the ban list, look at it in detail, figure out, what exactly is coming back, what isn't, and being able to decide which decks are going to be more feasible, because it will completely define the meta as to what there is that was hit, what wasn't, what came back, what got hit. Just a lot of different things that could be very useful. I'm still waiting for the day when Insector, Hornet, and Dragonfly come off that list and come back to a better power. Infernities even. The format's just going to change so much per ban list. It's crazy. So I'm really looking forward to this new ban list. And so far, I've prepared up a lot of decks to face this new ban list. I've also just been finding new builds, trying new stuff, and really just liking a lot of new stuff. Hell, even Volcanic with their new support card that should be coming out in February as well, Blaze Accelerator Magazine. Really just too good of a card, really broken. Just allows you to do really derpy stuff. So when you're gonna build a deck and you're gonna play for the meta, think about what the ban list has to offer. Think about what could be good against the meta decks, and with each new ban list, some new opportunity arises, some new something comes out of it, and be as good. So the reason why I haven't uploaded recently is because I've just been preparing for these new ban lists, and just building up stuff, trying out stuff to see what I want for the new ban list. Because obviously I do play IRL, but I don't have a lot of the cards to play IRL or the money to do so. But I would. If I could, so I've just been, playtesting around a lot of things, just preparing it for the new ban list, and hopefully actually get back to competitive dueling, because I used to duel competitively for a while. I was a good competitive duelist, and then I stopped, because the meta just got so boring, because it was just the people themselves here on DN just change and become assholes. So you tend to not want to actually play competitively at that point. But when I do want to get back to playing competitively, and I feel like that this is a chance and a new start at me being able to do so. I'm going to be playing unrated a lot with a competitive deck, and hopefully just doing my best. I'm going to be taking a real close eye on the meta this year. Coming up, going to be taking a good close eye on the meta, and hopefully becoming a much better Yu-Gi-Oh player, becoming administrator on DN, and hopefully being a master of all things Yu-Gi-Oh.